really going to tell us a little bit about how we collaborate, because I think as our first session effectively communicated and demonstrated, we can't do this alone. It has to be a collaborative effort by agencies, governments, private sector, and individuals. So just a little bit about Pearl. Pearl has, as I indicated, extensive experience mobilizing aid for youth mentoring, education, and health for various countries across the world. She's therefore well placed to provide much needed insight and tips for maintaining and building relationships within the diaspora. So Pearl's a philanthropist. I call Pearl a serial philanthropist because she's always at it, and my go-to person, or CVSS's go-to person. She's a businesswoman, singer, actress, model, wife, and mother of 3 children, and a cancer winner. So Pearl is known to many, many of her children all over the world simply as Auntie Pearl, which is very telling, in fact. So I'm going to let Pearl give us a little bit of her background and what motivated her. But just a little bit of quick background. Pearl left, corporate world and gave up her well-paid consultancies and followed her dream. She's never looked back. Today, Pearl is committed to using her contacts, resources, expertise, and experience and creativity to make a significant difference in the lives of others all over the world. Because of her Jamaican background, Pearl is particularly enjoying her work in Jamaica as she's able to give back to the country of her heritage. Just a quick background on a few of her projects. She may not mention them, but Pearl had recently made a large donation of 2 million face masks, NHS quality approved face masks to Jamaica through the Ministry of Health to help fight COVID. It was a whole 40-foot container. It was amazing. They're also big on education and have shipped thousands of brand new or nearly new items of furniture for schools, for children and the administrative staff of schools, desks and chairs, teachers' resources, pens, pencils, textbooks. And the flip side of their initiatives include a program called Dream Catchers, where mentors discuss with their mentee what they would like to do with their lives and how they can achieve it. So here we have a charity that's not just giving physical resources, but also providing emotional and sort of psychological support to help youth and youngsters across the world realize their dreams and fulfill their potential. So let me just tell you a little bit about how I think we'll run the session. Pearl has a presentation. We're going to break up the session. When Pearl pauses, you'll be invited to raise your hand, virtual hand, introduce yourself, and ask a question, because Pearl is here and we consider her just a wonderful resource. So let us use this opportunity to ask any questions, make any contributions or comments to the session. So thank you very much. I'll say no more, and over to you, Pearl.
I'm not on mute now.
No.
Hello, everyone. I can't see any of your faces, but hi. Thanks for coming. Gosh, yes, that was an introduction. I'm wondering, who is she talking about? Just to tell you a little bit about me before I do my presentation. Some years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. So that was a real turning point for me. It really made me stop and look at my life and think, what am I doing? So after I beat cancer, by the grace of God, I just thought to myself, I don't want to just do life the way I've been doing it. I just don't want to just go to work, go to church, come home, go back to work, and just keep doing that over and over again. And that's it. And that's my life. And I just thought it's too insular. That's just all about me. And I don't want to do that anymore. There's got to be more to life. And I've always wanted to run an international children's charity. That was like my dream. I really wanted to do that. And as as well as lots of other things that I really wanted to do. So what I decided was, when I come out of hospital, I'm going to do all the things that I've really wanted to do, that I've either talked myself out of or I've allowed other people to talk me out of. So one of the first things that I did when I came out, I decided I'm going to start my children's charity. And I'm going to create a difference for children around the world. So I packed up my consultancy. I had a consultancy, the UK government was my client, the big client, and I just packed it up. I said, no, I don't want to do this no more. And my husband, my kids, everybody's like, why are you doing this? I said, because I have to. I feel as if I have to. I feel that destiny is calling me, and there's something bigger for me than just going to work and coming home and watching TV. So that's what I did. So let me see if I can share my screen. Hopefully I can do this and it's going to work. Can you all see my screen? I hope you can all see my screen. Okay. So I'm just going to keep going until somebody says you can't see my screen.
Yep, you're good to go.
Hey, okay. So loads of pictures on here, so I'm just going to scroll through them and have a little bit of a chat, but and then I'm just going to stop because there's just too many. So this is a bit about my journey. So what happened was, when I started the Jarrett Foundation, I went off to Africa, and I thought, well, I knew somebody in the Gambia, so I said, let me start there. So I went to the Gambia and I worked there for a year, and then we went on to Sierra Leone and worked there for a year. And then one of the team, by now I had a team. It wasn't just me on my own now. Now I had some volunteers around me who said, I'll help you. I said, okay, cool. So, and then most of my team were Jamaicans. So they said, why don't we go to Jamaica? Because Jamaica's celebrating its 50th anniversary of independence. Why don't we do that? And I thought, what a good idea. So we came to Jamaica, and we came to Jamaica because we wanted to celebrate this and then go back to Africa. That's what we intended to do, but it just kind of never worked out that way. We came and we basically just stayed. And then so we thought, I don't know anyone. I didn't know there was a net. I didn't know anything. So I just I had some friends in Mandeville, and they said, well, we could go down to Region 5 and talk to the Ministry of Education. I said, yeah, okay, I guess. So we went down there and we spoke to them, and they said, the first thing they said was furniture. And I said, oh, wow, really? Nobody's really asked me for furniture before. And I had no clue how I was going to do anything. I just said, okay, I'll go and make some inquiries when I get back to the UK. I said, before I do that, can I go and have a look in your school so I can get a handle on what we're dealing with? She said, yes. They gave me permission to go through all of their schools, and I just went on this school tour. And so when we went down, this is the kind of the furniture that we saw, and it blew my mind, because one of my team, she actually just sat down at the desk to take a picture and got a splinter in her hand, and I just thought, oh my God, this would never ever be allowed in the UK. Health, and they just wouldn't allow it. And I was like, wow. My eyes was really opened, and then I just kept going around, and I saw chairs with no back and sort of broken back, broken front. This was a security guard's chair that he was sitting on, one of the stools. I said to him, I'm going to come back. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but I'm going to come back and I'm going to give you a new chair. And then I just kept going around. And then I thought, when I got back to the UK, I thought, okay, I need to do something. And I just became very driven. So I went to my daughter's school. This is my daughter. She was in primary school at the time. She's now at university, so you know how old this is. And I went to the head teachers, and I said, look, I want to send some furniture to Jamaica. I don't know how I'm going to do it at this point, but if you have any furniture that you maybe you don't need, you're throwing away, could you let me know, and I can come and pick it up? And she said, well, yeah, well, actually, we have a container out the back and it has some furniture in there. You can go take a look at it. I said, oh, okay. So we went around the back and opened up furniture full. Look at these chairs. Look at them, beautiful, nothing wrong with them. And I said to her, what's happening with these chairs? They said, oh, we're just going to throw them away. And I said, why are you throwing them away? She said, well, we've got new budgets now come in and the chairs are blue and we're going to do everything in red. That's exactly what she said, just like that. And I just thought, how wasteful. And then I just thought, well, if this school is doing that, then other schools must be doing that. So what I did was, I mean, this is before the days of like, you know, Facebook and Instagram. So that it was paper. I went home and printed up some paper, some leaflets, and it said, if you're getting rid of any of your school furniture, please can you contact me and let me know. So every day when I picked up my daughter from school, after I picked her up, I'd go around all the schools and I'd leaflet all the schools and tell them, please, if you have any furniture, please let me know, because I'm looking for school furniture to ship to Jamaica. So one by one, they started to contact me and people were like, oh yeah, we've got, and I was like, please, I only want really nice stuff, because they were sending me, we were going to places and the furniture was rubbish. And I was like, no, send me pictures. In the end, I said, send me pictures of your furniture. And if I like it, then I'll come and then we pick it up. So, and I said, actually, I want things that look new or it could pass for new. That's what I want, because I'm thinking, I'm not sending rubbish down to Jamaica. I refuse. I'm a proud Jamaican and I'm not going to do it. So then it started to come in from everywhere. The schools started to contact us left, right, and center. And I had nowhere to put this stuff, nowhere. I mean, if it was small, I put it in my garage. If it was kind of like boxes, I had, in the end, I had stuff all around my house. I had stuff in the garage, I had stuff in the garden. And I just thought I'd run out of space. And my husband just looked at me and I said, yeah, I know. I'm gonna have to come up with a plan. So this is what happened. A school contacted me and said, we're closing down the whole school. So you can come and get everything in the school if you want, because we are moving to a brand new school and everything in that brand new school is brand new. So you can come and get everything. So this was the turning point for me, because I thought there's a school, I need this. I went to this warehouse, people, they're called Big Yellow. It's like a storage place. So I had talked them into giving me a room, but then I filled the room. And then 2 weeks later, I talked them into giving me another room, and then I filled that one. And then I talked them into giving me another room, and I filled that one. So in the end, I had 8 rooms that I had filled. But when this happened, I had to go back to them. I said, look, I know. And I thought, these people are going to run me, Jesus, they're going to run me. And I said, but when I go, I said, please, I know I have 8 rooms and I know you're giving them to be free. And I know it sounds like I'm just taking them, but a school's closing down and I can't say no. And I begged the man, he kept saying no, and I kept begging him. And in the end, he said, all right. And he says, we have a warehouse. And if you want the warehouse, you can have the warehouse. But if anybody comes, then you need to leave. Within 1 week, you need to clear out, you need to go. I said, okay, fine. I'll take it. So we packed up everything. We cleared this school. Remember, we have no money. So we fundraised in order to rent a van or this, or somebody would lend us a van or something. And then we moved into this warehouse. This is just a small snapshot of the warehouse. As far as you could see down each end, there was furniture stacked, all these different colors that you see, they're all different sizes of chairs. So we went from the little basic school right up to high school children. And then they had tables as well that went with them. So then we started to make up these little sets, because you have the tables, and these tables would have like blue bottoms. So we knew that we had to put those with the blue chairs, and they came in these sets. So we were sending these complete sets in there. So this is, oh yeah, slightly bigger one. This was the green one. You see the green legs on here, and then the brown ones, and they would just go up in size. These were the biggest ones. And then I'd go to the school, and then I'd make a big deal of the school who gave us the stuff, and I'd make a certificate up and give it to them. And their top students would come and shake my hand in the assembly, and they were, they felt really good because they had worked really hard. They get to meet me to go and get the certificate. So the schools, they loved it. They absolutely loved it. Then when I came to Jamaica, one time I came to Jamaica, And I have to share this little story. This is on one of my trips. I got up in the morning, and every time I looked out the window, there was this little boy, and he was rummaging through the dustbin, and I'd watch him. So the first day I just watched him, and then I didn't do anything. And then the second day, when I looked out the window and I saw him again. So I banged on the window and I said, "Come here." I said, "What are you doing?" And he says, "I'm looking for paper." So I said, "When you say paper, what do you mean looking for paper? You lost a piece of paper?" He said, "No, I'm looking for paper so I can write on at school." And I said, "What? You mean like an exercise book?" And he says, "Yeah, just like an exercise book." I said, "Well, you don't have an exercise book?" He said, "No, miss, my mother can't afford to buy me an exercise book." So I just thought, I can't believe this. So I got dressed. I said to him, "Meet me back here tomorrow, same time." So that day I went to the supermarket and bought an exercise book, and then bought him all kinds of things, and then came back and raided the fridge, got all his fruit and everything else I could find, and then gave him, when he came back the next morning, I gave him a big bag of stuff. I said, "Here, take all of this." And I said, "But look what's in here." And I held up an exercise book, and you wanted to see his face. Oh my gosh, his face lit up. I had to say, it was more than a book to him. It was more than a book. It was pride. It was, "You mean I don't have to go through the bins every morning?" And it's like, "No, you don't have to do that anymore." And the way he held up his head was like, wow, that means nobody's gonna laugh at me anymore at school. It meant so many things to him. And I just thought, wow, look at that. And I gave him this book and gave him all the fruit, send him on his way. I came back, and it couldn't have been a week. I got a call from this man. He's one of the counselors from one, and he says, "Pearl Jarrett, I've got some exercise books. Do you want them?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. How many do you have?" 27,000. 27,000. That was the quickest harvest I've ever seen in my life. I bought one exercise book, I planted it, and I got back a week later 27,000. And they said they've got everything you see here behind him, they're all in the boxes, they're all in the plastic. I said, "Why are you throwing these away?" And he says, "Because the council is now printing the logo on the front of these exercise books." Can you believe the UK? And because these ones do not have the logo printed on the front, we're going to throw them away unless you want them. I said, "I'll take them now." So we went down and we got all of them, 27,000. This is more new resources, all kind of resources. Everything is brand new. Everything is plastic. If I don't take them, they're going in the bin. And then we shipped our first container to Jamaica. We fundraised, we had dinners, we had all kinds of things. We got sponsors. I walked into my local bank, Barclays Bank, and I needed to open up an account. I didn't even have an account. And she said, "I need a charity account." She said, "Okay, what do you do?" And I said, "Well, I'm trying to ship some furniture to Jamaica." And she's like, "Okay, how are you going to do that?" I said, "I have no idea. I literally have no idea. I'm overrun with furniture at the moment, and I need to find a way. So I'm gonna have to fundraise." And Barclays Bank, I'll never forget, my bank manager said to me, "Oh, we'll do that for you." She said, "We'll ship it for you," just like that. And for 4 years, Barclays Bank shipped all of my containers to Jamaica. They wanted a charity to help, and I walked in the door just when they were looking for someone, and I walked into the door. They said, "We'll do it." And I was like, "Thank you, Jesus." So then we started to these desks. Because I went to a school, and the principals, their desks. I said to them, "Do you know what? I'm gonna bring you some desks." And actually, these ones here, the bottom right corner, these ones went to the Ministry of Education. These went to the Ministry of Education because when I went there, they had all kinds of they just needed so much stuff. And I said, you know what, when I come next time, when I ship the next container, I'll make sure that I ship some desks for the principals, and I'll also ship some desks and cabinets and things for the Ministry of Education, Hero Circle. So we did that. So these were my principals. See these these are brand new chairs. And I said, right, when I come back, I'm going to give you desks and I'm going to give you chairs. And there was just 2 of them that really was crying out for some stuff. But what I did is I shipped 60. I said to the BBC contacted me, the BBC, and they said, would you like some chairs? Would you like some desks? I said, yes, I would. Give me 60 of your prettiest desks and the newest chairs that you have. And I said, I'm going to give those to 60 principals in Jamaica. And that's exactly what they did. And then this is my warehouse in Mandeville. We have a warehouse that was donated to us. And we go down there, and these are the local guys, our young people that help us locally. They volunteer, they put everything in place. Can you see that they've stacked the tables over here? They have the stationery in another corner. They were all these white coats. They decided they were going to make them into their uniform. And then the rest we just sort of gave away to homes and all that kind of stuff. And then these are the exercise books that reached the children, the 27,000. They reached the children. This is some help that we got. These are our volunteers from Jamaica National Foundation. They heard what we were doing. They said, can we come down and we help you sort out your warehouse? I said, sure, that'll be lovely. Yes, please. So they came down and they helped us. Our warehouse was upstairs. So these young men, I'm telling you, they're so amazing. They volunteered every single day, and they would carry the furniture down the stairs when the principals came to pick them up. This is one of the principals that came. We had them logged, and we had 120 of them. It was supposed to be 20, but they kept telling each other, they kept phoning around and telling each other. And then, so 120 of them came in total and filled up their trucks and stuff and took stuff away. And then we made sure that people signed for them. So everywhere we went, we had a record so we could go back and tell all the people that donated to us, this is where they went. Can you see here? They got here. And this is why people trust us in the UK, because we have a paper trail of everything and we have photos. So they know that when they give us something, it's going to get to where it needs to get to. And we've now developed a reputation over the years. We are the people that's going to get the stuff there. It's not going to get lost. This is a whole classroom that we kitted out, some chairs that by the time we got there, we gave it to them, they took them away in the truck, and we came to see them and they'd already sprayed them the following day. They were so happy. This was a desk, the chairs, the books, everything you see here, we kitted out a whole basic school, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. This Minister Thwaite, this is the previous administration, I just got a call just one day. I was in the warehouse in Mandeville sorting out, everything with the helpers, who's going to come next week, and we the next day, and we had a list of schools that were going to come. And then we got a call from the permanent. Somebody said, "Oh, but Pearl, the permanent secretary's on the phone for you," and I was like, "The permanent secretary of what?" And they were like, the permanent secretary from the Ministry of Education. And I was like, for me? And I said, yes, Pearl, just take the call. So I took the call, and I was like, hello. I was convinced they had the wrong number. And I was like, hello. And she said, yes, the Minister Thwaite, wants to come down and meet you tomorrow. And I just thought, well, and I said to her, I said, that's lovely. But I said, I've got 25 schools coming for furniture tomorrow, so I'm not actually free tomorrow. And my staff looked at me and just like, are you serious? So we rejigged everything so that we could go to this presentation and do this whole press conference with Minister Thwaite, and then we had to go back. And I said to them, well, as long as we're going back to the warehouse afterwards. If we leave her at 10 o'clock, it's on you guys. And they said, fine, we'll stay till 10. You're going to the press conference. I said, okay. So we went to the press conference. This was it, the press conference, and lots of pictures, but then it just went everywhere. Everybody, the word just spread. So now we got contacted by the fire station and the police department, and everybody was queuing up outside. Can we have this? Can we have that? We gave thousands and thousands of these are brand new exercise, brand new bags. And the excitement with these children when they were ripping off the plastic off of the bags, you know, to put their stuff in. It was just so excited. More bags, all of these are filled with brand new resources that we had sourced in the UK. Exercise books, pens, pencils, you name it, even clothes and shoes in there when we got them. And on and on and on. And I'm going to stop. Oh, good, we're finished. Yeah, because it's a lot. And that's my journey. And that's how I've kind of ended up doing what I'm doing now, because it just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And more people got to know about us and more people contact us. So now when we say, listen, we need something, you know, the wheels start turning. I'm going to stop there because I have a ton of stories, but I don't know if Nancy wants to jump in.
Thank you, Pearl. It was very moving, and I think it's you know, it's just very telling. I don't think you had any idea when you started out where you were going to end up.
Not at all.
Sorry, I've just been instructed to start my video. I didn't realize I wasn't on. But I think that is the interesting and the joyful aspect of what you do. Is I think you were rewarded, and I can see the joy in your face. I think the photographs are very telling, and the beneficiaries, and the demand here is big, but I just think everybody, it's a win-win for everybody. I wanted to use this opportunity to open the floor. Does anybody have any comments? Does anybody want to share a kind of similar experience?
Hi, Nancy.
Yes, hi, who is this? Could you just identify? Pardon?
Moira
Oh,
Morgan.
hi, Moira, how are you?
I'm blessed, thank
Moira,
you, darling.
hold on before you go on. Just give us a little bit of background. Just give us your name and your initiatives or organization.
All right, Moira Morgan, founder and director of the Griffin Charitable Trust here in Jamaica. Stepped out in the late 90s to take early retirement and do what the BBC said, cock up my foot under a palm tree, sipping rum and coke, ogling all the young men, just like the BBC said you're supposed to when you reach a certain age and stage in life. But somehow or another, I ended up in Olympic Gardens for a large number of years, 9 years, where we started out with a little sports club for the kids on a piece of wasteland that turned into after school program, that turned into home care and daycare for the senior citizens, that turned into rehab program in the prisons, that turned into shelter for mothers and children, that turned into and our next step will be a home for a group home for young women with learning disabilities. So yeah, it's a journey. Jamaica is a journey, and like you, Dr. Pearl, there was no intention. And I think the reality is, whether you're a Christian or not, there's a being greater than us that has a plan. And I'm convinced she has to be female, because you couldn't wickedly take me off the beach and send me into Olympic Gardens. That has to be an evil woman's doings. That couldn't be a man. They're not so spiteful. But no, it was a very rewarding time. It was a fabulous time. I don't regret a single step of the journey. Yes, maybe I wish I had reached out more to bring in more resources, etc. But I'm going to be honest, I found it very hard on two counts. First count, being a foreigner in Jamaica, everybody assumes you're rich, yeah? So you've got it anyway, so you don't need to ask us. And back in the UK, for a long time, the attitude was, well, a Jamaica problem, that and a Fui problem. But all that perception has changed over the years. And I think mainly by working at the grassroots level, with your feet on the ground, and and talking with the people, not talking to, and listening to the voices. And not just to the words that are said, but the whole aura in which it is said. Yeah. And I know when you work on that level in the community, you understand what I mean by that. It's almost unexplainable in that you can get people to change that perception of how they look at inner city people, that you can get people to start looking at how you look at people outside the inner city differently if you're in the inner city, making experiences open, making opportunities open. And people are frightened to do that. And I say, step out in whatever faith you profess and do it. Because the worst that can happen is it fails, and you're no worse off than when you started, except maybe financially. I did have a good pension at one point. It not there again. Done. So Griffin Trust now has 5 young people in transitioning that are not in residence on the property that we operate in Yalis. There are a few doors, literally a few doors up. We have 2 youngsters still here that are under transitioning age. And we have 1 young lady whose learning disability makes it impossible for there to be a safe space for her out in the community, because her cognitive levels are such that she's too trusting. She's kind of toddler stage trusting. And there is nothing in this country that allows young people like her, who can function under supervision, who can, I mean, she's got her own little vegetable patch and all the rest of it, where she grows her little vegetables and her seasonings. She can earn her own little living growing things, but needs to be in a safe space. So we are creating that safe space as our bigger kids move on and transition. And hopefully by the end of the year, we will have a grant that will enable us to refurbish the house and put on some more income generating bits for the residents as they arrive. And that's us.
Thank you very much, Moira. And I'm hoping to get out there one day next week to just have a look. So thank you for your contribution. What I wanted to just come back around to Pearl, and Moira, maybe you can contribute, or anybody's experiences. What, Pearl, you were able to mobilize a huge amount of resources. What were the elements of your operation? Maybe it was your accountability, maybe it was your ex-post reporting. What do you think were the key elements why doors opened? I'm sure doors closed, Pearl, but doors by and large opened. How did you open them? After that, Kimberly Marriott Blake has her hand up. We'll just go straight over to her.
For me, it was just sheer passion. As you meet me, you'll see that I'm very, very passionate about what I do. It's not something that I do because I feel this would make a nice new career change, or this would make me some more money. It's like, nah, I do this because I love to make a difference. So I'm very, very passionate about getting the stuff and getting it to the end user because of the impact it will happen. And I found that the more I do that, that rubs off on people. So then they just want to get involved. They want to, I don't have to force anybody. I don't have to cajole them in any way. I just get around them. I said, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. What have you got? What? And they say, and they start to look for things. They start to look for things and say, oh, well, we've got this. Do you need this? And the UK is incredibly wasteful. So lots and lots and lots of waste. I mean, I called up a marketing company and said, listen, everything that you've got that's got last year's date on it, how much of it do you think you've got it in your warehouse? And they're like, stacks of it, we're just gonna, that's what you can do with it. We're just gonna throw it away, we're gonna do this. I said, no, then let me have all of it. That's when we've got conference bags, pens, pencils. The kids don't care that this pen has 2020 on it. Nobody cares. But it will go in the bin because, we can't use it at a conference anymore because it's 2021. You see, now like COVID, when nothing happened last year, if I still had my warehouse, it'd be full. It'd be full because there's so much waste. Just throw it away, put it in, just incinerate it or throw it into a landfill. So
Thank you, Pearl.
yeah, it's just enthusiasm and passion that gets people going for me.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah. I think there's also something there. I think there is an element, Pearl, of maybe your organizational skills, maybe you communicated, but there's definitely also a passion. Passion is good, but I think a level of organization and reporting, and I think trust is also important. Let me go straight over to Kimberly, who has her hand up and is waiting patiently. Kimberly, go ahead, introduce yourself, please.
Hi, morning, everybody. You may hear a small human in my background. He tends to express himself when I've unmuted my mic. Kimberly Marabek here, Jamaica Association for the Deaf. So we are managing schools, support programs, social support programs to deaf persons, their families, deaf children and their families. So in essence, we are covering support for a deaf or hard of hearing person from birth to death. So that's a quick summary as to kind of what we do. I wanted to find out from you, Pearl, what has your experience been like engaging with local partners? Because I see where you, a lot of the need that you've identified or you've met is based on, you see the need and you just kind of get it done. But I've noticed over the last few years that there's an increased interest to partner with registered organizations, a number of agencies in US and the UK. There's an increased interest to registered agencies. But then there's almost a feeling that there is almost a cherry picking of which agencies we want to work with, which I can appreciate because you're going to go with who's trusted. But what has the experience been as it relates to working with local agencies? Is there a kind of rubric? Is there something that as a local entity we can do? So for example, is there something that JAD can be doing to put ourselves out there to become more appealing to, serial philanthropists, as Nancy calls you, like yourself, so that we can get that connection to these great big warehouses that have lots of stuff that can help us right now, particularly with, as I heard you speaking, I'm thinking of our school in Brownstown that we've had significant termite and water damage over the last 2 years, and we basically have to gut the entire school and start over. We've been joking and saying, do you remember back when we used to sell a block? So when a church is being built and everybody buys a block, we've literally been joking in our management meetings, how do we sell a block? And so I'm just kind of wondering, how do we get to that connecting piece with agencies and persons like yourself? Is there something that as a local entity we need to be doing to really put ourselves out there to be appealing and to be that space that someone can trust?
Okay, I'll tell you how we work. So because I'm in the UK, I don't really know who's doing stuff locally. So I have a local office in Mandeville. So the picture that you saw of the warehouse in Mandeville, I actually have a team in Mandeville run by Bishop, run by the Larman brothers, Bishop Larman and his brother Craig, and they have all those young people there that help them. They connect us with local organizations. So I'll get an email saying, I really, so what, okay, take the masks, for instance. I say to them, how many masks do you need? I'm going to send this amount to the Ministry of Health and Wellness. I'm going to send this much to CVSS to distribute. How many do you need as Jarrett Foundation that you can get out to the community? And they sent me a long list of organizations that they know of in the areas and surrounding areas, from churches to boys brigades to all kinds of crime prevention and this and that. And they have that local knowledge. I have no idea. So so the list was there, and they said, well, we're going to send 5,000 here, 5,000. I just said, okay, here is, I think it's 500,000. 500,000. I said to them, you have, divide it up how you want to divide it up. And they dispersed it throughout Jamaica to the organizations that they know. So when I get emails from to my website and people want to contact me, I would immediately forward that to them and said, okay, can you have a look at this organization and see how we can help, find out if there's a way that we can help. And sometimes they know them, sometimes they don't, and they said, okay, we'll investigate and see what they need, and if we can help them, we do. And so that's what we've been doing in terms of assisting. What we haven't done yet is any things like partnerships with other organizations, where we would really be having to look at management and paperwork. And so if we were going to give you money, for instance, we would need to make sure that everything was accountable, so that, you know, it wasn't going to go astray or anything like that, and your reporting was up to scratch. But I've not had to do that because I haven't had to give any money or anything like that to anyone. All I do is I send money down to the office, and they do whatever they can with the organizations that they know. So if, for instance, your organization wanted to connect with us, then speak to Nancy, and I'll give Nancy the details of our Mandeville office, and you can connect with them, and then we'll see how we can work from there. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you. So interestingly enough, as you spoke, what it really sounded like was, let people know you have a need.
Yes. Yeah, and we really do try and help if we can. We do. We never just say no and, you know, nothing to do with us. You know, we just don't do that. We're just not those kind of people. So if we can do it, we will do it. Yeah, it's whether or not we can or not. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you, Pearl. That was enlightening. And just with respect to the mask, just to let anybody know, we had reached out to our members, and we still have 1 or 2 boxes of masks. If anybody needs masks, any of the organizations, particularly those who are resuming interacting with the public, just please let us know. The masks, again, were kindly donated by the Jarrett Foundation, who gave most of them to the Ministry of Health, and a portion was earmarked for nonprofit organizations across the island.
Yeah. And Ministry of Education.
Oh, Ministry of okay, good.
Yes, can't leave out my Ministry of Education.
No,
my kids
will resume classes across the island very soon.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Shirley Moncrief here. We also received 200,000.
Yeah.
We only have 5 boxes left to be distributed. Most deep rural primary schools have benefited, and they're asking for more. So if we could get more, we would love some more, because there are a number of schools that are reopening for face-to-face, I think next week, Monday, and we still have a great need. So Dr. Jarrett.
Wow.
Yeah, if we could get more, that would be so awesome. I'm just throwing it out there to you and the universe, so the universe can give you some stuff so we can get more for our children.
You're not speaking to the universe, Shirley, but let's just chat off air and we can make arrangements, because in fact, we're going to send some down to Hanover to about 8 or 9 basic schools that have been adopted by our one of our charities, the Trial Fund. And again, they're just resuming face-to-face, and the masks are now critical. So
awesome. That is awesome. Thank you.
It's good to talk.
Yes, absolutely. That you know, comes right back again to collaboration.
Yeah.
I think, Pearl, you have sort of clearly articulated how important it is to just be what you really are. You're a conduit. You're a conduit to where the need is, and you have communicated very effectively, passionately, and swiftly to those who have, want to call it, a surplus of goods. And what we have is a very efficient and neat transfer. And from those, you know, smiling faces in the picture, I think, Pearl, it just speaks. It speaks to the efforts through your organization. So what I wanted to just give you the opportunity, Pearl, to use this forum. Do you want to tell us a little bit about post-COVID? Is there any particular feel for what it is your foundation would like to reinitiate? As you said, the warehouse, I think, is probably not. Here we have some messages here, I'll answer. And the warehouse is not up to its full capacity, but just give us a little quick, you know, look into the future.
Yeah, look into the future. There's two main projects we're doing at the moment. One's a short-term one, one's a long-term one. So the short-term one, we was contacted by the Ministry of Health and Wellness again, and asked if we, you know, with CVS to say, you know, can we both help to raise funds for equipment that's needed for COVID. Still more equipment needed. Oxygen and all kinds of things. So I just thought, first of all, I thought, oh my gosh, I don't have a warehouse. What can I do? And then I thought, no, Pearl, come think outside the box. It's your fundraising, so it's not like you need to be able to gather stuff and have somewhere to store it. It's just money that you need to fundraise to send down. Okay, don't need the warehouse. Then once I've got that cleared in my head, it was just a case of now galvanizing everyone. So I've been speaking to everyone, been speaking to the churches, I've been speaking to the people who head up the diaspora, who know lots of secular people who are organized. I said, do me an event. So they're all organizing some reggae and comedy nights, And I've got somebody over here who's in the gospel community. And I said, right, organize me a gospel concert. All right, so they're organizing a gospel concert, and all these gospel singers are coming and they're donating their time free of charge. Then I've got somebody else who is, as I said, speaking to the churches, speaking to the pastors. And then on top of that, there's a global giving event. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's called just Giving Tuesday. Giving Tuesday. It started in the States, and what happened was there Thursday, when they have Thanksgiving, so they've spent a lot of money for Thanksgiving. Then the Friday following Thanksgiving, that's what they call Black Friday. I don't know if you have that in Jamaica. That's when everybody goes spending and they raid the shops and they get everything kind of like half price. And over here and in the States, they're literally fighting for televisions in the shop. And then the Monday following that, that's Cyber Monday. That's when people now buy everything half price online. So somebody come up with this thought, why don't we have the day after you've done all that spending, we'll have Giving Tuesday. So Giving Tuesday follows Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Giving Tuesday. And there is this global movement, loads of people involved, celebrities, Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, and all, everybody's getting on board. It's now in 60 countries. And every time I look at it, every year, I say, one of these days I'm going to get involved in Giving Tuesday, but I've never done it. So this year, after we have these conversations with Ministry of Health and Wellness and everything needed, the target was to raise some money for Jarrett Foundation for health and wellness for COVID. I said, right, this is the opportunity that I need. So I've incorporated Giving Tuesday into and built a whole campaign around Giving Tuesday. And now we're talking to corporates for them to come on board and match fund everything that the public gives, so that whatever they give, because the data shows that if you have a corporate that match funds, number one, more people give, and number two, people give more. Because if I'm going to give you £10 and you tell me there's a corporate that's going to match fund my money, I know that my £10 is actually worth £20. So, and then I'm thinking to myself, well, if you're going to match fund it, I may as well give 20, because now my money is worth £40. So it's psychological. So we've now got corporates coming on board with the help of the High Commission in London to match fund what we're going to make through all the campaign, and then to match fund it with the Giving Tuesday. So I've got all this going on, and I've just given it out to people. Say, you do that bit, you do that bit, you do that. Everybody just keep reporting back to me and just let me know, and I'll run that. And they've got somebody else, and I know Jamaicans who are very good at social media. I know Jamaicans who are very good at PR. And it says, I need you to donate some of your PR time free of charge. This is for Jamaica. So I'm calling on people and say, I need you to give me 3 hours, just do this free of charge, it's for Jamaica. And they're like, Jamaica? Yeah, I'll do it. So the campaign is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then we're going to galvanize everybody. And then by, the third, Giving Tuesday is Tuesday, the 30th of November. So by the first week of December, that project is done. We'll know how much we've got. We'll know how much we've match funded, and then we can get a nice big check and take some pictures and send it. And then we can present it to the Ministry of Health and Wellness or the High Commission in London, however we get that check to you. How you get the money is more important than taking pictures with the check. So that's the short-term one, but that's turning into quite a big project because I've got lots of little things going on. And then after that, when that one dies down and I don't have to do that anymore, I'm back on the bigger project, which is, very, very apt, because at the moment, you've probably heard, there's COP26 that's going on in Glasgow. All the leaders are there and talking about the planet and everything else. And we know that Jamaica, small island states, you suffer because rising sea levels and climate, the weather is changing and all kinds of things, fisheries, it's all changing because of climate change. So we all have to look at ways of which we can adapt to make it work. So my thing is, I'm going to do everything I can to help Jamaica, and particularly because I've got a passion for the schools, for the children. I'm working at the moment with the Ministry of Education and the Development Bank of Jamaica to see what finance we can bring in to see if we can work with new renewables and work with water and provide that for the schools. So that's more of a longer, I don't expect it to be long because we've got a lot of the things in place. I know people, we can pull it together this end. It's how quickly we can get it through in Jamaica for us to start a pilot and all that kind of stuff. But so I've always got something going on for Jamaica, always. So this is the short-term one, is the fundraising for COVID. And then the longer one is more about how do we get energy efficiency in the schools, make it cheaper? How do we provide water for the children so that the schools don't have to close down if there's no water? So yeah, those are my two projects for the future that I'm working on post-COVID.
Thank you, Pearl. In fact, I don't know if you've sort of put it together, but I think your whole investments in education and in early childhood education are part of how we will have a future of educated and informed Jamaicans who will take the right kind of decisions towards, whether it's renewables or efficient use of water for and towards a more sustainable Jamaica. Yeah. And it is only through education. So you really are starting at the right place. And it's very ironic, actually, your Giving Tuesday on the 30th of November is exactly the same day of our National Volunteer Conference, which Pearl is one of our presenters at the conference. So again, everybody will have a further opportunity to dialogue, to hear Pearl's presentation, and to just understand a little bit more about how important the diaspora is. There actually are more Jamaicans living outside of Jamaica than there are living inside of Jamaica. And I think like Pearl, it's all about heart. They feel Jamaican. They feel how important it is to make sure that, you know, I guess those of us who stayed behind are not left behind. And I've always, you know, not only just interacting with Pearl, but interacting with, you know, diaspora groups in the States, there is this connect. And we really need to learn and understand how to engage effectively with
Nancy,
the diaspora.
can I just add, it's because when going back to this whole cancer thing, when I decided I wanted to do this, I never ever felt that this was a good idea. I felt this was purpose. I felt that this was my destiny. I felt that having a charity that does something abroad and makes a difference is been a driving force for me. I started off in Africa because that's where I thought I should be and kind of stuff. But during the walking of the process of Jarrett Foundation, I've ended up where I know I'm supposed to be. Mm-hmm. So while I'm here and my space and what I do in Jamaica, it's never for me like, oh yeah, I've got a good idea. I think I'll do something, you know, because you know this. It's been like I have to do this, and because I said because of the passion that I have for things, and because I'm very good at galvanizing people and getting people together, I'm able to draw other people who not necessarily, who I wouldn't say are you know, wake up thinking about Jamaica as much as I do, but because I'm always sort of going on about it, then they go, oh yeah, I mean, yeah. So I'm finding that I'm pulling people along with me who probably would never have even considered Jamaica and reaching out into Jamaica and doing something and all this kind of thing. And I tell them about the Diaspora conference and I tell them about this and they're like, oh, when can you let me know when it is again? Because I'd like to go and I'd like to see, you know, and I'm like, of course I will, you know. So I love doing it, as I said, because I can see other people getting on board. And when they get on board, other things get on board. And it's like a ricochet.
That's the power of collaboration. And I think that just keeps, we learned from COVID. COVID was awful, but we learned some very valuable experiences in the power of everybody coming together, individuals, corporate, the government of Jamaica, and all the nonprofit organizations. I think there were valuable lessons to be learned. And I think that the momentum that we picked up cannot be lost. We just have to keep building on what we have learned and those connections that have been made and keep moving forward. So that said, unless anybody has anything else to contribute, I'll just open up the floor quickly. All right. So I just want to make sure and invite all of you to keep watching the space, keep watching the various social media to make sure that you log in, register for our national conference on the 30th of November, which is, what do you call it, Pearl? It's National Giving Day.
Yeah, it's Giving Tuesday.
Giving Tuesday. So thank you all for joining us. We'll be in touch. Let me just make sure that there's nobody with a question. All right, Shirley has said thank you very much. And she's looking forward to greater partnerships. Thank you, Shirley. Thank you, everybody, for coming on board. And thank you, Pearl.
Can I say hello to Yvonne? I think that's Yvonne Brown from NET, I think, unless there's another Yvonne Brown, but hi.
Let's see what Yvonne has said. And just look all forward to the next Eventbrite, where we have Rob Pierre, who specializes in digital media. He is a Trinidadian. So again, we keep coming back to our West Indian roots, who's doing tremendously well with his firm Jellyfish. So that's the 17th of November. We have Rob Pierre's Expert Speaks presentation. So look out for that, everybody, and watch the space. And we're looking forward to sharing with you again at the next Expert Speaks. And then at the end of November, the conference. Thank you all. And we'll be in touch.
Thank you, everyone. Bless you.
Thank you, Pearl.
Good
That was
day.
wonderful. It was great. Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.